One, the crazy viewership. It was ridiculous for this Liberty Fever game that just happened. And then, of course, some mileage that some people flew just to see this. So looking at it here, it says the Indiana Fever and New York Liberty game on June 14, 2025 drew a large viewership with 2.22 million viewers, man. Oh my goodness.
Remember when women's basketball barely got attention between halftime snacks? Not anymore. Caitlin Clark just stepped back onto the court like she was headlining a major movie premiere, and suddenly the Indiana Fever versus the undefeated New York Liberty felt like a full-blown blockbuster. Viewership? Through the roof. Fans? On their feet. And if you blinked, you might have missed Clark breaking ankles and breaking broadcast records. At the same time, this isn't the WNBA of the past. Not even close. This is must-see basketball.
Hey, guess who's back again. Caitlin's back. Tell Caitlin Clark Kent back in action. Where do I even start? 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, 7 threes, 11 for 20 in only 31 minutes of basketball. The Indiana Fever say, come on, New York. Come on. Somebody's got to give you this first L, and I guess it's going to be us. No Jonquel Jones, but the Indiana Fever handled business.
Have you ever seen something so predictable it's almost funny? Caitlin Clark walks into the arena, belt bag, calm confidence, and like clockwork, TV screens light up and ratings spike. The WNBA isn't just alive, it's buzzing. Then she sits out 5 games with a quad injury, and boom, silence. Viewership tanks. The league goes from everyone's watching to, is this still on, practically overnight. Ratings dropped more than 50%. That's not a dip, that's a nosedive. It's not just that Caitlin moves the needle, she is the needle.
The GOAT! It can only be one GOAT, man. It can only be one GOAT. What a performance by Cece. Man, this was well worth the wait. We've been waiting patiently. We've been itching, waiting for her to make her return. And boy, did she come back with a vengeance. Boy, did she come back letting the world know what they have been.
Then she comes back, belt bag and all, like it's her superhero gear. 3 weeks off. 5 games missed. And the big question? Did the league miss her? Answer, absolutely. Every bit of it. Her return game? A high-stakes matchup, Indiana Fever versus the undefeated 9-0 New York Liberty. Pressure on. All eyes watching. So what does Caitlin Clark do? She steps onto the court and takes over. She doesn't just return, she explodes. By halftime, she already had 25 points and 7 three-pointers. Yes, 7. In just 1 minute and 38 seconds. At one point, she was hitting shots so fast and so clean it was like the net got launched into orbit.
As I discussed before, Caitlin Clark, this is her first game back in 4 or 5 games after dealing with the quad injury. And she did not disappoint. Came out with 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, almost a triple-double. But 7 3-pointers, y'all. And she was hitting them from 40 feet. Like, she was literally shooting from anywhere, and it was cashing out. In fact, at one point in time, she hit a ridiculous one that Stewie just had to throw her hands up, and they laughed all the way back down the floor because even she knew it was ridiculous.
Let the Liberty brag about their cute little 9-0 start. Caitlin Clark had other plans. She didn't just show up. She walked in, saw the hype, and coolly handed them their first loss like it was part of her post-game autograph routine. 9-0? Try 9 and done, and yes, the world noticed. Ratings didn't just rise, they skyrocketed. We're talking a 166% spike in viewership, like someone dropped Mentos into a bottle of Coke. Fever home attendance? Over 17,000 fans, packed in tighter than a Coldplay concert. This wasn't just a basketball game, it was a full-on cultural moment. Think Oprah level, you get a car, energy, but in sneakers, with range, and unstoppable swagger.
So this is major, man. This is major. Shout out to Caitlin with the motion. Caitlin with the motion, man. We already know what's going on with that, man. Great game. The competitiveness, the love between the team, like, it was a really good game, man.
Now people are comparing her to Tiger Woods, and it makes sense. When Caitlin Clark steps on the court, it's not just a game, it's an economic engine. She's not just boosting viewership, she is the viewership. Take her out, and ratings plunge like a phone battery stuck on TikTok. Put her back in, and suddenly the league feels like a 5-course dinner with fireworks and champagne. That she's not just moving the needle, she's ripping the entire compass off the table. Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA, she lit the whole thing on fire.
So lads, Caitlin Clark playing one of the 3 best games of her career against the undefeated New York Liberty. You can't even, like, has basically broken. It has broken the Caitlin Clark haters. So,
the funny part? They were already calling Caitlin Clark the future MVP, just 15 minutes into the game. Seriously, before the popcorn even finished popping, it was like the universe looked up and said, yep, that's the one. Give her the crown. And honestly, who could argue? She wasn't just playing basketball, she was running a clinic, completely dismantling the league's only undefeated team. 1 3-pointer turned into 2, then 5, and by the end? 17.17 threes. Not just a franchise record, a full-on statistical mic drop, and she didn't stop there. Clark stacked up assists like she was leading a charity drive, grabbed rebounds with force, and put up so many points the scoreboard probably needed a reboot. The stat sheet printer? It might have needed a break and a deep breath. By halftime, coaches were stunned, teammates could only shake their heads, and the crowd? Completely unglued. The chants, the signs, the tweets, it was official, Caitlin Clark had taken over. This wasn't just a great game. It was a Hall of Fame audition, and she nailed it like it was just another Tuesday.
I do not want to hear any Caitlin Clark slander after today's game. I do not want to hear any Caitlin Clark slander after today's game. As you guys know, I was going to give my quad up for Caitlin Clark. I was giving my wife's quad up for Caitlin Clark. I was giving up anyone's quad for Caitlin Clark. Got told she was going to play today, and I was like, she's probably going to take it light. 32 points? 32 points? I think she had like 6 rebounds, 8 assists, maybe vice versa. Like, absolutely.
Let's step back and really look at the big picture. Take Caitlin Clark out of the WNBA equation, and what happens? A steep drop in viewership. A noticeable dip in energy. Just look at what happens when she's not on the floor. Chicago, Minnesota, LA, Phoenix, pick a team. Without Caitlin, the crowds thin out, the TV ratings nosedive, and the buzz all but disappears. It's like going from a nationally televised primetime event to a forgotten rerun of amateur mini-golf at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. That's not a knock on the other players, there's real talent in this league. But right now, no one else is pulling in national attention the way Caitlin Clark is. She's not just a star, she's the gravitational center. The numbers orbit her, with her, the league is thriving. Without her? It's back to fighting for a few 100,000 viewers and hoping for headlines, and that raises a tough question: where's the next Caitlin-level sensation? Because it's starting to feel like the entire league is riding the momentum of one breakout phenomenon. And if anything slows her down, injury, burnout, whatever, what's left, the WNBA is having a moment. But if it's built on just one name, that moment could slip away just as quickly as it arrived.
Asked me why I did not care about the Fever going 2-3 while Caitlin Clark was out. They asked me why I didn't really care about Stephanie White's offensive philosophies without Caitlin Clark. Well, here we are, back in effect. The Indiana Fever hand the New York Liberty their first loss of the season in Caitlin Clark's return game. Huge Saturday afternoon battle, national TV. Caitlin Clark drops 32 points, 9 assists, 8 boards, 7 made threes, the only player in WNBA history with that stat line, and basically announces to the league game.
And make no mistake, the league knows exactly what it has in Caitlin Clark. The moment she entered the WNBA, the schedule flipped. The old plans? Tossed. Suddenly, Indiana Fever games weren't just on the calendar, they were everywhere. ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, NBA TV, you name it. If there's a camera and a broadcast license, they've tried to get in on the Caitlin Clark wave. Out of 44 nationally televised WNBA games this season, 41 feature the Indiana Fever. Let that sink in. That's not scheduling, that's spotlight worship. For comparison, the reigning champion Las Vegas Aces, home to the current MVP, didn't get that level of exposure. Even the New York Liberty, arguably the league's super team with international stars, landed just 32 national broadcasts. 32 is impressive, until you stand it next to Clark's 40-1. At this point, she's not just a player. She's the headline, the highlight reel, the halftime show, and the post-game talking point. The league isn't just promoting Caitlin Clark, they're building the season around her. Fever games aren't just matchups anymore, they re-mandatory viewing.
Just like that, she's back. Caitlin Clark drops 35 after her 5-game layoff from injury. It was at a point where she scored 9 points in less than 45 seconds. I mean, crossing the half-point line, one dribble, and just pulling it from the logo. Like, these plays are just mind-blowing. Y'all know she definitely got a tech for yelling at a ref, too. That's, like, prime Caitlin Clark. It was at a point where she pulled from the logo, and her and Stewart were just laughing because it was just that unbelievable. I told y'all, face of the league, you can't deny it. How this can translate into the postseason, y'all about to see the Indiana Fever make a real run. They got the players, they got the fan base, they got the star. All they need to do is make that deep run into the playoffs and actually give them a chance to do something big.
Now let's talk about the fan obsession, because it's something else entirely. The crowd at the Indiana Fever versus New York Liberty game didn't just show up for basketball. They came dressed like it was Fashion Week. Prada bags, designer sunglasses, sleek outfits. This wasn't just a game. It was a Caitlin Clark sighting. They weren't there to support just the team, the league, or the sport. They were there for her. The return felt less like a player comeback and more like a royal event. It had the energy of a Taylor Swift concert, and Caitlin Clark was the headliner. She's not just an athlete, she's a full-blown brand. Her merch doesn't sell out, it vanishes. Her jersey is flipping online faster than Bitcoin during a bull run. And the resale prices? Let's just say eBay hasn't seen this kind of action since the Beanie Baby craze. Meanwhile, Liberty star Sabrina Ionescu quietly dropped 34 points, a phenomenal performance by any standard. But even that couldn't steal the spotlight from the Caitlin Clark takeover. Clark didn't just return, she made it clear this league runs through her now.
And much to the credit of Caitlin Clark, this team won a massive, massive game. It was not without flaws, believe it or not. If I wanted to, we could really get into it, but we won't as much. Number one of the greatest single half performances I've ever seen in basketball.
It's honestly kind of funny how people dance around the truth like it's some secret code. They talk about Caitlin Clark like she's a high-tech race car or a fancy espresso machine, the league-saving superstar, they say, like she's some magical forest spirit here to rescue women's basketball. Nope. Let's call it what it really is. Caitlin Clark is carrying the entire WNBA TV business on her back, like a caffeinated atlas wearing Nike kicks. If she so much as sneezes on the sidelines, broadcast execs hit the panic button and scramble to put together highlight reels. If she signs a shoe deal, viewership spikes like she dropped a surprise mixtape. Flicks her hair in slow motion? Congress might pause just to issue a statement. And if she salsa danced mid-game? Networks would cancel billion-dollar deals just to air it commercial-free. Every game she plays is a Super Bowl-level event. Meanwhile, teams without her are playing in front of folding chairs and church crowds. She's not just a player, she's the entire WNBA economy. If Caitlin Clark takes a water break, ESPN reroutes satellites. If she breathes, Nielsen ratings take note.
Clark three-point distance in the first half was 34 feet, 28 feet, 27 feet, 31 feet, 27 feet. The third three-point line is 22 feet away. Guys, talk about...
Caitlin Clark is back. She was out almost 3 weeks due to a quad injury, but was cleared to make her return against the defending champion and undefeated New York Liberty. Or at least they were. The Indiana Fever beat the New York Liberty 102-88. And on her first night back, Caitlin Clark was cooking. She scored 25 points in the first half alone. Damn. She finished the game with 32 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and shot 55% from the field and 50% from beyond the arc, hitting 7 threes. This was a great win for the Indiana Fever as a whole, and hopefully they can carry this momentum going forward, because I think they're a lot better than what their record currently shows. But as far as Caitlin Clark goes, to the most dynamic player in the WNBA, welcome.